Now,
on News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
7:07 on this Friday in the nation's capital, and it's Veterans Day observes. Happy Veterans Day to everyone who served and to their families. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Tomorrow, of course, is the official Veterans Day, Patrice Onwuka, but
an early start on it.
Yeah, why not? Exactly.
Yes.
Every day in its own way should be Veterans Day in this nation. Coming up at 7:35, we'll speak with Tony Schaefer, retired colonel from the Army, and now he's going to be the Grand Marshal of the Veterans Day Parade tomorrow. And then at 8:05, Rich Anderson, chairman of the Republican Party, and at 8:35, Brett Baer of Fox News Channel. But what better way to start our Veterans Day observance here than by talking to a Marine?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, there you go. You got to get the theme going. It's got the big fanfare before you get to the halls of Montezuma. You got to do it right. You know, imagine the dress blues. There it is, the red stripe down the side of the leg. Nothing better. Joining us right now is a Marine, an officer, no less. Alec Candelori, a great guy who I've known for over 10 years because he also happens to be the co-owner of Copare.
Oh, wow.
Where both Julie and I have been spent a lot of time over the years. Alec, happy Veterans Day. Thanks for joining us, you jarhead.
Thanks, Larry, and happy 248th birthday to the United States Marine Corps.
That's right. And, oh, God, you know how many people on the Beltway stuck in traffic just now went,
Love it.
They just gave that grunt. I'll never forget when I first met you guys. You hadn't even opened yet. Back then it was the MP 180, rebranded, retooled, and presented as Copare now. And when I started talking with you, I realized you guys are all Marines. It's like, oh, well, hold on. This is owned by Marines, and you guys are all like all in on fitness and making sure that people are being their best possible self and getting physically fit. It's like, okay, you guys are really into this. I mean, what you learned as a Marine Corps officer really does permeate everything that you take with you into the private life after your service, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Discipline, consistency. Stay with it. You know, you have to follow a program, and if you follow through and you overcome adversity, you can achieve a lot more than you'd think.
Do you still call the Navy when you need a ride somewhere, though?
Absolutely. We love the Navy.
Just checking. Well, I want to talk about, first of all, some other things that you do outside of Copare, but it does relate back to Copare. And it's specifically your work with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. You're on the board there and part of the leadership. And tell us what the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation does.
So the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation has been around for 61 years. And the way it started back in 1962, in the New York papers, there was an article about a Marine Medal of Honor recipient who couldn't afford to send his child to college. And a group of Marines got together and said, hey, we got to do something here. And they started out that year by having a small dinner, getting some Marines together, and they raised $1,000 for that child, to where today we give out over $11 million in scholarships. It's a needs-based program. Most scholarships out there are merit-based. So what that does is that sort of gives an advantage to, more affluent kids whose parents can afford tutors and things like that. We're really focused on, more of the enlisted children, people who've served in the Marine Corps or are serving in the Marine Corps. Our cap on income is $117,000, which is set at the highest pay for a sergeant major in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
But basically, we're helping over 2,800 kids this year, over $11 million. And the unique thing is, if you apply for a scholarship and you qualify, there's no selection process. Everyone who's qualified gets a scholarship. That probably isn't the greatest business practice in the world, but for us, it has worked, and just an amazing organization.
Well, Eric, it's nice to meet you, and this sounds like I think a wonderful partnership in really ensuring that young people who have a need can still get access to the American dream through the education field. Talk to us, maybe, is there a story or two you can share about over the years? I'm sure there are many stories of young people whose lives have really been transformed. And also the families. I mean, this is about helping families who also serve alongside our men and women. And, you know, this is very much a part of Veterans Day and how families sacrifice and what this scholarship program means to families.
Yeah, well, just to give you an example, when you look at the staff, you know, we have development officers. We now have 3 development officers that are former scholarship recipients.
Wow.
So if you can imagine a development officer calling on a potential donor as a former recipient of a scholarship to be able to talk about that firsthand, it's pretty amazing. I mean, the numbers for the organization are, you know, just sort of staggering when you look at it. 91% graduation rate when the national average is 54%. We have 48% are first-generation college students in their family. 67% of our graduates will leave with little or no debt versus 33% nationally. Just, you know, amazing. And over our history, given out over $200 million in scholarships.
Geez, Eric, so let me get this straight. A bunch of Marines saw a problem that needed to be fixed, and you didn't immediately just go to Congress and try to get legislators to vote on it and create a new government program? You just said, we're going to fix this ourselves? That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, everyone has, you know, Marines will all give you sort of a different view of the Marine Corps, but when I think about growing up in a Marine Corps family, I was born in Camp Lejeune. The words that I think about what makes the Marine Corps different is the words accomplish the mission.
Yeah.
And what the Marines have done over time is given missions that were virtually impossible, and they accomplish more than you would think. And that's a good example of what this organization is about.
Speaking with Eric Candelori, is a Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. That's what we're talking about. But let's bring it back to your other job as co-owner of Copare, because you talk about, you know, miracle missions that you can accomplish. You got me to lose over 40 pounds in 4 months. It's a great program. It does require discipline. It requires focus. But your coaches are like drill sergeants, and they you know, give you that motivation that you need every morning to make sure that you accomplish the mission. I love this offer that you've got right now. If people join up with Copare now, you're going to donate $200 to the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. And I know there's a bunch of people out there who are already with Copare. It's like, well, wait a minute, I want to help. Well, guess what? Any current client of Copare, if you add to your program now, add some weeks, they're going to donate $100 for you. So you can keep on the program, you can lose that weight, get fit, be the healthy, energetic you that you know you are underneath all that, and you'll be able to help the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. Eric, this is terrific. I'm so, and you're doing this personally, right? You're personally contributing this money.
Yep, my wife Heather and I will be contributing it, and we're hoping. I mean, I'm hoping that listeners will, you know, decide, hey, I want to improve my health. I want to help sons and daughters of Marines go to college, and I want to hurt Eric as much as possible. So
that's right, exactly.
Bring it on.
He's got plenty of money. Let's go. All right. You can get more information at coparehealth.com, COPARE health.com. And Julie's not here today, but she sends her regards and thanks you for everything your team is doing. She is right on track. And she was at our Wine Outlets event last night, and everybody was like, oh, my God, Julie, you look amazing. And she does. She's always looked amazing. But you guys are doing the Lord's work. Thank you so much, Eric. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you both. Same to you, and happy birthday to the Marine Corps.
Can I say Semper Fi? Am I allowed to say Semper Fi?
You are, and hoorah.
My daughter's boyfriend is a Marine, by the way. He's at Quantico right now for TBS, and my life is. I need pointers from you on how to have my daughter date a Marine. This is weird.
Well, I'm going to take you down to Quantico for a live fire exercise. I think you would really enjoy it.
Oh, I'm on board with that. You know what? That's a date. Let's go.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric.
Take care.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Live
from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios.
Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
News is brought to you by New Look Home Design.
Miss anything? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get today's breaking news on the Vince Colonnese Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
Alec Baldwin has a huge family. Actor Alec Baldwin, and by the way, let's just be clear on who this guy is. Alec Baldwin, after years and years of erratic, uncontrollable rage, focused at people that he finds objectionable, whether they're paparazzi or, Republicans. After years of that kind of behavior, this spoiled, pampered, rich Hollywood actor killed a woman in cold blood.
Yes. Oh.
And it appears got away with his lies, but now is facing a reindictment. Charges are reopened as a new grand jury examines some discrepancies in his testimony as it relates to the evidence. So now what does Alec Baldwin do? Does he sort of like keep to himself, keep a low profile, show his contrition, show how devastated he is that, he killed a woman in cold blood by his hand. Whether it was a criminal act or not, the judges and juries will decide. But there's no doubt that because of Alec Baldwin, a woman is dead. And one would think that would be a life-jarring moment where you become, humble and reassess
and
things. And, no, he's pitching his family for a reality TV series, much in the same vein as the Kardashians, keeping up with the Kardashians. He wants, and he's got
eye roll.
He's got 7 kids with his third wife Hilaria or fourth wife Hilaria. They have 7 children. They live in Manhattan, and he wants to bring cameras in to follow them around, which will be great for the children. You want to raise your children live
With
on
cameras.
Television, right?
Why doesn't he just join Housewives of New York? Just jump on yeah.
Oh, I don't think he'll make as much money. That's why.
Oh, he wants it to be because
it's
he'll
all
get
his, right? Exactly.
Every kid probably gets a check.
He told Kelly Ripa on a podcast that she does. They put 1 or 2 pitches about our family, and that a reality show has all been so we could stay home and just work from. That's an actor's idea of working from home. I'll stay home. You bring the cameras to me and just tape me being my charming, wonderful self.
He says, quote, I need 12 plane tickets, because I've got my kids and my family and my nannies.
Yeah.
So he has 7 kids and 4 or 5 nannies? Cry me a river.
All right.
Cry me a river.
I know that the instinct is to just knock this, but just because, listen, let's face it, we love talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Turd, right? We love talking about Meghan Markle, thank you, and Prince Harry, and the debacle of the royal family. We love the celebrity gossip stuff.
We do.
That's a big. So think about how great this reality show would be. Just imagine Hilaria, rummaging through the kitchen trying to find the makings for a salad.
With her
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have how do you say it? Cucumbers.
How do you
with
say
her fake accent?
How do you say cucumber? We don't use that word from where I'm from, Boston. Come on, the fake Spanish accent. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe they should pitch this to Univision, right? This could be because Spanish is her primary language, isn't it? Little Hilaria.
Listen,
I think this would be delightful.
I think it would be awful. I'm
Of
tired
course
of seeing,
it would.
I'm tired of seeing these people exploit big families for a big payday. These children end up either strung out or they're doing outlandish behavior just to stay on for another season. We need to end this. The Housewives, God bless them, I love them, but we don't need another Alec Baldwin house husband of New York City.
We do.
We don't need it.
I do. I need it.
Or who's going to watch it?
And who doesn't want to watch? He's already ruined one family by killing in cold blood their precious daughter. Now he's going to ruin his own family.
And then he gets rewarded with a television show? No, come on now.
Listen to this exchange. Cut 13, Kelly Ripa.
Everything we did, and then shows we have considered, and pitches we've heard, and even 1 or 2 pitches we've made about our family and that reality show has all been so we could stay home and just work from home. I'm desperate to try to work from New York.
I think it's the smartest thing. It's a show I would so watch because you're very ensconced in the Hollywood world. You're a world-renowned actor. She is a yoga, I don't even know what it's called, yoga master, yogini.
Well, she's like a wellness
health
expert
and wellness expert.
Yes.
As evidenced by her, not just her body of work, but her incredible body, which I have talked to you about numerous times. And yet, there is a relatability factor. There's like a hominess to you both.
They're so relatable, Patrice.
No.
Oh, they're just like me.
I don't relate to a murderer. I don't relate to a murderer. I don't relate to people who fake accents because they want to come from another country. I'm actually was born in another country, and this is offensive to me. No, we don't want to see it.
Alleged murderer, manslaughter.
Sorry, alleged. Yes, alleged.
I mean, it is accurate that he killed a woman. We just don't know if it's technically murder.
Okay.
It's 7:24.
Now,
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 7:37. It's O'Connor and Company here on this Friday morning. Veterans Day observed. Tomorrow's your big Veterans Day, but it's on a Saturday. It's not as fun.
Today is the federal holiday.
Absolutely, and we're going all in on it, and we thank our veterans. And let's bring one in, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer, retired from the United States Army, and of course a CIA-trained intelligence officer. Happy Veterans Day, Tony.
Hey, you too, Larry. Thank you all for being here to talk about this important issue.
Well, listen, we'd love to talk to you about, national security failures, what's going on in Israel, intelligence community. As we often do. And we might circle around to it, but it's big news. We have an inaugural Veterans Day parade going down Constitution Avenue, Sunday, November 12th. And who's going to be there as the Grand Marshal? Our very own little Tony Schaefer.
I know that guy.
Congratulations. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, I'm quite honored and able to be asked to be the Grand Marshal. And they've got a big yellow Jeep for me to ride in. My youngest son, Ryan, is driving it. God bless it. Hopefully he'll do well since he's 17. And then we're gonna have me doing the General Patton or Queen Elizabeth thing, depending on your flavor, of standing up and waving as I go down the avenue. So it should be fun.
The way the Pentagon is steering our military, it might be more of the Queen Elizabeth thing.
That's right. So, but it's going to be obviously a major parade. I mean, this is fully approved. The Mayor's Special Task Force and the Parade Foundation, run by Fran Ventura, are the ones running it. And they got a lot of units. It's going to be a big event, and this is the first one ever. And this is where I think Eric and I would agree this is way overdue. I mean, this should have happened a long time ago.
Hell yeah. By the way, you can get information at nationalveteransparade.org, and I see that Nine Line Apparel is one of the major sponsors. I love those guys. We've got a lot of their swag. It's really good stuff.
And 6 Hour sponsoring my appearance, just saying. So.
Oh, excellent. All right, so when is it happening, and when should people start assembling for this?
Well, they can assemble anytime they want, but if they want to watch the parade, Larry, just saying, the First Amendment and all that.
Yeah.
But if they want to, good to be reminded. But if you want to,
while it lasts.
While it lasts. If you want to assemble for the parade, it's going to be noon on Sunday. Obviously, everybody should assemble over on Constitution Avenue at noon. Obviously, get there early. You don't want to get a good spot along the route. It goes along Constitution. And it should be a beautiful day for it. It's going to be in the mid-50s. It should be sunny. It's important for people to get out. And that's one of the things, and I think, you and Patricia would agree on this, that we lack a focus on service. And the people who have served the nation well are the veterans. And I think the fact that we have so many veterans who have done so much to support the country, that's lacking in today's current younger generation. And I think this is a good way of honoring those who have served the nation and try to rekindle that sense of service.
I 100% agree with you. And, the difficulty in getting young people to even join the military in any shape or form, it's, I think it's probably a legacy of just how people have been, maligning law enforcement in general. But, I want to get your take on something that's a local story that's starting to blow up here. Obviously, the FBI just announced that there's going to be they're moving their headquarters to Greenbelt, Maryland. Kind of controversial because apparently a 3-member panel of GSA officials said, no, we actually think it should be in Northern Virginia. Yet Greenbelt, Maryland is the new home. And I guess Christopher Wray is even saying, no, it should not be there. And he's suggesting there might have been some conflict of interest behind the scenes. What is your take on this whole situation?
Well, I would have thought they'd be moving it to Cuba to be with other travelers, but that's just me. I mean,
Anthony.
I know I'm going to get in trouble for that. No, I think he's right. Look, I think there were shenanigans going on. Anybody who knows the local D.C. area, Northern Virginia is the place to be. I'm not saying it because I used to live there, but to get into town, you go from Greenbelt to get in downtown D.C., it takes at least an hour in rush hour traffic. To be able to make it from Springfield, which is what they're kind of talking about probably, 20 minutes. It's not that difficult. So
not to mention getting to Quantico, where the major FBI operations are.
Yeah, I mean, you can hop on in the Beltway and be there in 15, 20 minutes. I think they're right. I think there was some shenanigans going on with the Democrats and that sort of thing in that local area there. So I think they need to rethink it. I think Northern Virginia is the place to be for them.
Tony, you spent some time in your career in the military, keeping an eye on terrorists and keeping an eye on the bad guys via your intelligence gathering.
I still do. I still do
in your private capacity.
Yeah.
So
down in Stafford. Yeah.
We've had over 40 attacks on U.S. assets in the Middle East by Iranian-affiliated terror groups. And this is still all we get from the Biden administration. Listen.
What is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran?
Don't. What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
It was very important to send a very clear message to anyone who might seek to take advantage of the conflict in Gaza to threaten our personnel here or anywhere else in the region. Don't do it.
What is your message?
Here's the problem, Tony. They keep saying don't, and they do.
Right.
How did they respond to this kind? We're seeing how they respond to this kind of weakness. Our enemies.
Well, they're badly. Exactly. So any credible deterrent has to have an important factor in it, Larry, and that is credibility. It's not credible. They've responded to the 80 attacks by 2 airstrikes, each taking out ammunition dumps. Now, I don't even believe they killed one. And it's basically encouraging more. The more you do this kind of like, don't kick me in the butt, I'm going to get upset. The more they're going to kick you in the butt. And I'm sorry, I saw the Pentagon's press conference on this 3 days ago, Larry. The press was, these are not big. These attacks are not a big deal. It's like, look, let me tell you, if you're the guy or gal on the ground and those rounds are coming into your position, it's a big deal. And I can't believe here we are on Veterans Day, the Pentagon is being so dismissive of the men and women in positions of service, trying to serve the country, being so badly supported where they're being shot at is no big deal to the very leadership who should be protecting them. So this is a big deal, and they are doing the attacks because they don't believe the Biden administration will respond in an effective way.
Tony Schaefer, happy Veterans Day. Congratulations on the Veterans Day Parade this Sunday, the 12th at noon. And do you want, I know how much respect you have for the Marines. You want to wish them a happy birthday or,
Oh, the Marines! I love the Marines. I mean, did you hear that they figured out what took the F-35 down, Larry?
What was that?
So, basically the guy's crayon packet fell over and it fell out of his feet, and he couldn't control it. So it's terrible. It's terrible. So I love the Marines. God bless the Marines. Happy birthday.
That is Army Officer Tony Schaefer saying that, not me. Not me. Thanks, Tony. It's 7:44. All right, very cool that we have such incredible partners here on WML, including Jonathan Cotton. You know that name. You hear him talking about, and me talking about, the Good Feet store. And Jonathan, thanks for joining us, because every year at Veterans Day, you have this great promotion to help out our vets, and I wanted to spend a little time talking about it. Happy Veterans Day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Larry. It's great to be on. I appreciate it. And we are excited about the opportunity to engage on Veterans Day again this year.
Well, listen, one thing anyone in the military knows about, you're on your feet a lot. You're marching, you're running, you're staying in shape, and it's great that it's a perfect fit for the Good Feet store, because after a lot of years of wearing combat boots or whatever, if you're a civilian, whatever kind of shoe apparatus you've got, it takes a toll on your feet. I've learned that myself since I'm a Good Feet participant. So what are you doing specifically geared toward our vets and helping them out?
Yeah, and you said it so well, Larry. It's the military is very, very hard on our veterans' feet, and so we want to, in helping them, we want to offer them a 10% discount today and tomorrow on any purchase at the Good Feet store. And so what we're going to do is when they come in, we will fit them with our personally fit 3-step system of arch supports that can go into any shoe, whether it's a combat boot, a running shoe, or a dress shoe, or anything like that. And we all are engaged in a war, and that is the war with the concrete and asphalt, and our feet often don't fare too well, So that's part one. The other part of it, Larry, that we are also doing is we're going to be from our sales from yesterday, today, and tomorrow throughout all of our stores that we have. We're going to be donating 10% also to TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. And I think when people think about how do we really truly recognize veterans, I don't believe there's a better way than to recognize those who have our military fallen, and the incredible families that are continuing to deal with that loss. And TAPS is an organization that's been around based in the D.C. area. Their work, Bonnie Carroll, I can't say enough about the work that they do in their work with the military. They're not supported by the government or the military, but they rely totally on public funding or from the private sector for their sustenance. So.
Well, that's terrific. I mean, I think this organization is much needed, Jonathan. I'm looking just at some of the programs that they offer, and it really seems like they're trying to build community and companionship, both for, particularly for the families and for the children. How did you guys get involved with TAPS?
I met Bonnie Carroll a number of years ago before I became a business owner, and I have been so impressed with her. I'll just give this anecdotal story. I once was talking to a military, a family member, survivor, and she said in her time of grief that she called in, and they offer a 24 hours a day, 7-day week crisis line. And she called in expecting at the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning, expecting to get a recording. She got a live person on the phone. And then it turns out that the live person who's answering the phone is none other than Bonnie Carroll, the president and founder of TAPS. That's the type. She's 2015 Medal of Freedom, Presidential Medal of Freedom winner, and I can't think of a person that's more deserving of that. But the work that they do in helping so many people when these special people come together, it's just incredible, and we love supporting them. I'm actually be running in Richmond a half marathon with my TAPS logo on, and so we believe them. And it's when you come to the Good Feet store today and tomorrow, we're going to be using the proceeds from that sale to support TAPS.
Well, and listen, Jonathan, you know full well it was January of 2020. I walked into your Rockville store unable to run a mile. And this summer I ran a half in June, and I ran the Army 10-miler last month. So thank you. Thank you to the great people at Good Feet store. And thank you for doing this for our vets.
Love it, Larry. Love to hear that story. That's what we're about, helping people to get out of pain and live the life they love, and especially our veterans. So thanks so much.
Thank you. It's 7:53.